All right, we're here with head coach Marc Rardin. Coach, kind of a tough battle there. You know, you guys go up early 2-0, sort of like you did yesterday. Today they fight back, they tie the game. There's a couple middle innings there where there's no scoring, and then you guys kind of, you know, find a way down the stretch. What are your thoughts on the win?
My story before the game was about the game is not perfect. The game is a game of compete. It's not a game of perfect. It's a game of compete. That's what baseball is. If you're looking for perfect, everything about the game being perfect, then you're in trouble. The game is about being a game of compete, figuring it out. And that's exactly, came to fruition today of figuring it out. We had other opportunities in the game. Hall did a great job. He ends up having an inning where he hits a batter, it extends the inning. We don't turn a double play. It was a tough double play, and I don't know if we end up turning it, but still, then they get a 2-out double, and they end up tying it up. But they don't take the lead; they just tie it up, and then there's a few innings in there after that where I feel like we're giving them away, and their pitcher was tough. I mean, he's competing as well, and all of a sudden there's nothing pretty about the game for a few innings for us. But then there's competing, and all of a sudden there's Weidman, and he hits the double. Marmo comes off the bench cold and puts down a great bunt and moves him over. Just stuff like that. We do a fake bunt, hit and run. We have fun with some stuff and not just bunting again and just doing different stuff. And then our bullpen with Lyles and Peters and Higgins coming in for the one pitch. It worked out well. We're finding ways to win.
Trayson Peters comes in there. This might have been the most impressive outing that we've seen from him so far. Five strikeouts there, and just a really impressive overall outing from him. What do you see from Trey out of the bullpen?
Well, what I've known from Trey lately is just his disappointment in himself lately. Just too many walks, too many behind in the count, that type of stuff. So, there was a lot of Trey knowing that he had better in him, and he had some disappointment in himself, and he was expecting better of himself. And kudos to him coming out today. And it wasn't about it was Trey versus Trey. It wasn't Trey versus Liberty, and that was it wasn't him like shoving Liberty. It was Trey versus Trey on the mound today, and they happened to just be in the way. And that's really what it was, because his last couple outings haven't been the best. They just happened to be the ones that had to be in the way, and he was good today, and he did exactly what we needed him to do.
You talked about Marmo a little bit earlier. Comes off, like you said, off the bench, completely cold, lays down a great bunt, sets up the game-winning run for you guys. Talk about him and what he's done. Not as big of a role this year, but filling in when he's needed.
Yeah, you look at him, and we talked about Haller as well. And all of a sudden a big weekend this weekend for Haller. But yeah, Marmo has been the steady Eddie team leader. Very mature. Whatever's asked of him, he can play every position in the outfield. Very good on the base paths, a plus runner, handles the bat, defensive replacement. He can do everything, knows the game, just high IQ. So, to be able to do that, he's the first guy off the bench for a lot of different reasons. And it's not an easy task. It's a very humbling one at times, and I get that. But he's, we don't expect, nor we even expect them to, and we don't want them to like it. If they're a competitor, they shouldn't like it, or really accept it, but they have to handle it. And he does a very professional job of handling it. And the only way, when you're mature enough to handle it, you can all of a sudden step up when the opportunity comes and be able to handle it like he did today. And that's why he's the first one off the bench for us in that situation.
30 wins, 3 straight years with you here at Western Kentucky. Do you know when the last time the program did that?
You tell me.
2009 to 2011.
Okay, we're crossing paths a lot with that 2000 2009, 2010 range. So, hey man, we are who we are right now. We are where our feet are right now, and hopefully we got a lot of work to do. And it starts with rolling out of bed tomorrow. These guys get about 10 hours to enjoy this, as I do, and then we roll out of bed tomorrow, and we try to add another win to it, hopefully.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, Jack.